Very often I am out on solo drone adventures looking for ways of enhancing the interest in my drone shots. Now, it's not a vanity thing filming yourself all the time. You can use yourself as a focal point. That certainly adds interest to your shots as a compositional technique, but it also adds a sense of scale to your shots. It gives the viewer some kind of reference point for what it is they're looking at, and it's really useful in these big landscape shots that you're looking at now. Don't worry, I'm not going to try and teach you how to look cool. You just can't teach that kind of stuff. But I am going to show you how to apply some basic cinematic principles to the simple exercise of filming yourself. We're going to transform fairly mediocre shots into something special so you can create some stunning footage when you are out on your solo adventures. Dolly zoom vertigo effect is a great looking technique. Look at that perspective shift in the background. So let's do the dolly first. We will pull down on the right stick, fly the drone gently backwards with the controller hidden at my side out of shot. Now we need a zoom, which we're going to do with post-production. It's smoother and easier. Watch our first ever YouTube video on the channel from 8 years ago. The tutorial is just as good now as it was back then. There you will see how to put the post-production zoom on that combines with the dolly, and we have this cool effect. If you can push the right stick forward while keeping the controller slightly out of shot, and I'm sure you can, then you can do this overtake shot. Why was that so effective? Well, first of all, you're looking at me. Now you're looking at the landscape. One of the goals here in creating interesting footage is to pull the viewer's eye through the frame. You're looking at me, now you're looking at the landscape. Overtake yourself. Not much going on in this shot. Oh, there's a bit of interest. An undertake shot revealed the subject, conveniently myself. In this instance, pulling backwards on the right stick, controller is tucked out of sight just in front of me. This works so well because we are creating tension, we are adding suspense. The first step of our 5-step framework to great aerial cinematography we taught you in the previous video. The big reveal, simply done by flying backwards. The controller is in my left hand. I'm pulling downwards on the left stick to descend the drone. But how did we get that tilt up of the gimbal? Well, we had focus track engaged there, taking care of all of that. Now, why is this an interesting shot? We're flying down, as you can see in this slightly more complex example, and as we fly down, the gimbal tilts up, reveals a little bit more of the setting, tells us more of the story, and we have a multifaceted shot with the downward jib. Again, with the controller tucked out of view, if possible, push up on that left stick. Focus track is engaged. That's taking care of our gimbal tilt while we fly the drone up, and we have the upward jib. Okay, that just seems like the reverse of the downward jib, but this technique is particularly effective if we're able to reveal more of the setting, like in this example. The higher we go, we see that I'm standing looking at that waterfall. I'm not even bothering to fly the drone here. I've just got the gimbal tilted down, but in comes our subject. We've created a little storytelling reveal there with the bird's eye shot. Sticking with the gimbal pointed down, let's fly the drone up at the same time for a rocket shot. If you find that your shots are taking a little bit long, then speed up the middle of it, little speed ramp, so we get to the action a little bit quicker. Want to add even more pizzazz to your rocket shots? Then add a little bit of a twist. Don't go too fast, just the nice gentle rotation adds a certain, I don't know what the word is for it, but a certain quality to the shot that we're doing more and more these days. Quick question, have you downloaded our free ebook with 37 drone tips to get you flying like a filmmaker? Over 100,000 people have done so, so definitely grab a copy. And just in case you don't know, we have gorgeous premium courses as well. Links in the description. Follow shots are really cool, taking advantage of the focus track capability of these drones. I like it a lot. However, if you combine it with some of the other more cinematic shots, then I think it's more effective, to be honest with you, than just watching endless follow shots. But nonetheless, amazing technology. Follow yourself with the drone. Don't forget, when you're using focus track, you can reposition yourself in the frame. You're not stuck with central framing. So when we do the tracking shot here, which is basically a sideways follow, we're able to reposition myself to align with the rule of thirds. Look at the left-hand example. I'm jammed up. There's no looking space. If I'm aligned in the left of the frame, we have some looking space for where I am going. If you've made it this far in the video, then you are ready for a category of shots founded on a cinematic principle, the coming into shot. Look at this. This is a tripod shot. The drone is just hovering, but I came into the frame. Here we have a gradual forward motion. Here's interesting enough, but it's much more interesting when I come into the shot. Reveal your subject by bringing them into the frame. In this case, it's you. Look at the beautiful light here. It's a nice shot, but that is so much more interesting when I come into the frame. Again, founded on the first principle of our 5 steps to great cinematography, reveal your subject and create suspense. Setting up the first part of the walk under, walk out shot. Here I am trudging towards the drone. I push up gently on the left stick and I walk under the drone. Now for the second half of this little sequence, I'm flying the drone up and I start to eventually come into the frame. This is for the walk out part of the shot. It doesn't look that great, but if we combine those two shots in fairly quick succession, then we have a nice little sequence here where I walk under and walk out. Orbits are a category of moves where we can go crazy, so let's look at a few examples to get the most of it. Here I'm setting up a point of interest. You can just see me out of shot putting the controller on the ground. But the point of interest is set on the ground. That allows me to come into the frame. The drone is not following me, it's following that point on the ground. Definitely watch our little hack video to teach you how to do that. Now, orbits are great because they reveal new parts of the setting, and that's what you want to think about when you're setting up your orbits. Here we've got some nice rotational movements coming in to show a little bit more of where I'm walking. These ones are kind of motion for the sake of motion, but it does look cool if you really want to get some nice moves. So try and think about resolving your motion, bringing that drone to a halt, essentially, like that orbit really did have some purpose. Here I'm slowly easing out of a spotlight orbit to show where I've just come from. Now, slow motion obviously makes you look really cool, as you can see in this dramatic example, but so do digital zooms and optical zooms if you have one. We get a little bit of compression that enhances the sense of parallax as that rotation takes place. Last but not least, do a big flying backward motion. Begin with the end of the shot. So starting with you, fly gently backwards, then at full speed, tan that drone backwards as far as is safe to do so. Then, in your editing software, reverse the shot, speed up the middle section, slow it down at the end, and oh my goodness, how on earth did I hit the mark? The ta-da shot. Okay folks, it's been a blast. Check out our other videos. We've got so much cool content here on the channel. Download our free guides below and we will see you in the next one.